too, and it is truly amazing.
Hello, hola, ciao, what is good? My name is Kelly Paratelli. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time and energy here today. I am making this video to talk about 5 reasons why traveling is the best education. So if you haven't already tuned into my YouTube channel, traveling is my #1 passion in life. It's the thing that brings me the most joy, to be honest with you. I love adventures and I love traveling, and that's part of why I love real estate photography, and I still get to go on adventures in my own local communities, driving around to find the properties and to see them for myself, and provide my own photographic testimony with beautiful editing that Windows still does in a great team effort is something I'm really happy to be a part of. And so it's like I get to go on my own mini little adventures, you know, every day on the job, which is like a dream job for me, honestly, and take beautiful photos, which I was already doing freely for years anyway. But yes, I'd say travel is like my #1 favorite thing, and then photography and writing after that. So like basically adventure, you know, I love traveling in different cities, in different states, in different countries. I have now been to 9 countries and 32 states in the United States of America. And I want to travel more. And so I've been celebrating the lives of those who have passed away in my life that I've celebrated and honored this week in various ways. And it seems that some of them had the same interests as me, which is why I'm making this video, which they love traveling and they loved adventure. So this video is 5 reasons why traveling is the best education. And just to put it into perspective for you, I'm someone that has a master's degree, who went to school for the better part of her life, you know, Catholic schools, kindergarten through 12th grade, but also not just private schools, but public schools, going to Grand Rapids Community College for 2 years and Grand Valley State University here in the state of Michigan, in downtown Grand Rapids. I went for 2 years to complete my undergrad degree and 2.5, 3 more years after that to complete a master's degree. So this is coming from someone who has had quote unquote higher education, someone who has many years, the majority of time that I've been alive, I've been in quote unquote formal education in my life now, you know what I mean? I'm 35 and I spent 26, 27 years of my life doing formal education in private and public schools. I also have an international teaching degree as a CELTA certified English as a second language teacher. Anywhere in the world I can teach. So yeah, so traveling, however, is the best education, and that is what I believe after having done both. And I truly feel, I say this all the time to people, I encourage them to travel and not be afraid and to take the leap, and especially do it while you're young and healthy and while you can. But there's some people who have adventures all their lives, and like I said, my grandma Honey was riding a wave runner age 74, 75. So anything's possible at any time that you're alive, and I wouldn't let fear stop you. That would be my advice. But that leads me into the first reason why traveling is the best education, is that you learn about yourself. You learn about yourself while you're learning about the world. So picture it this way. I live in Michigan, which is one of the lowest altitudes on earth, so to speak. And then in 2022, when I was 33 years old, I went to Machu Picchu, South America in Peru, which is the Andes mountain region, which is one of the highest altitudes on earth.
I'm so happy to be here. It is unbelievable, really.
So right there, I'm learning about myself in a physical, mental way that I never had before, because I'm putting myself in an entirely new environment, not only in a new country and a new continent, but a very different higher altitude. So that was a learning experience. And if you're able to be brave and put yourself in different situations, if you're brave enough to put yourself in different altitudes and test them out, you can kind of learn more about yourself than you ever thought possible if you just stayed in the same spot, in the same geographical location all your life. You know, I learned that I have allergies to certain plants and seasons. I learned what foods sit well with my body. I learned what altitude I fly best at, so to speak. I tested myself in every environment. You know what I mean? With different substances, with different foods, with different aids, and different altitudes. And when you test your own values against other people's cultures and other people's ways of life, you realize, you know, there's more than one right way to live. And that's number 3. So number 1 is you learn about yourself. Traveling is the best education because you learn just as much about yourself as you do about the world. Number 2 is you gain real testimony. So I named my book Testimonials by Kelly Paratelli, as you know, because it's in the description of every YouTube video on my channel. And I've talked about it and made many videos about it by now. And as you probably have seen on my YouTube channel, I have playlists that separate the main categories of my YouTube videos, and there may be more soon to come. Now, if you look at them carefully, travel vlogs, that playlist has the most videos out of any other thing on my YouTube channel because that's what I have the most content on, because that's what I love the most. But now I've got a real estate one, and the only reason why I haven't been traveling more lately is because I'm trying to make full-time income from living the dream, because it really is a dream job that I've found and I won't give it up for anything. So traveling is something that I will do again and will continue to do. So my book Testimonials has some of the stories of when I went to Italy and explored my own Italian family heritage, right? Like, I went to the mountain where my family is from on my Italian father's side, Carrara, which is the city that his grandfather, my great-grandfather, worked as a marble cutter. I went there and saw it myself. So my grandma Honey was telling me secondhand knowledge when she told me the stories of her husband's family, because she herself never went to Italy, but she believed her husband's testimony of his family stories and the paperwork and documentation and photographs and all the things they had from Ellis Island, showing that they came here from Italy, from Carrara. And I went there myself and met my Italian cousins and breathed the air and the altitude of Liguria and Tuscany, Italy, looking over the Mediterranean Sea, and I held that white marble in my hand. I took pictures of it because that's one of my favorite forms of testimony, and it has been my entire life, is photographs. Now, in a court of law, testimony, according to the Constitution of the United States of America, when you place your hand on a Bible, when you step up on the stand in a court in the United States of America, you're testifying and you're swearing on oath to God, according to the United States government, that your first-hand knowledge and experience, what you saw with your own eyes, heard with your own ears, lived and felt with your own experience and body, mind, and soul, counts as fact. In a court of law in the United States of America, testimony counts as fact. So you believe this person's firsthand testimony because they're swearing it's true on a Bible, at least in the United States. They're swearing to God on high that it is true testimony. In spirituality, it is also a word used for those who have lived and seen something and experienced it and who are testifying to the truth of it. Okay, secondhand knowledge and gossip and hearsay are not the same as testimony. And those are only but a few small reasons why I named my book that, because these are things that I've truly done. And that's why I fought not to have them call it fiction, even though half of my book is poetry and they've labeled poetry fiction. These are non-fictional short stories and poems, to be honest with you. It's all things that happen from my real life, yes. So, traveling's the best education because you gain your own testimony.
As you can see, the pyramids are behind me, and it is a beautiful day.
Okay, whether you're taking pictures or videos or you just have the memory, you live to learn something that they cannot teach you behind a screen or by any book that you might read. I lived it. And when you travel, you see it with your own eyes, you hear it with your own ears, and you feel it, and you experience it yourself. No one can take that away from me the way I felt when I climbed to the top of Machu Picchu by myself with the tour guide and felt my angel's breath. The third reason why traveling is the best education is because you learn that there's more than one right way to live. You learn about other cultures, and you learn about other ethnicities, and you learn about other languages around the world. And although English is the #1 most spoken language on earth, so to speak, bruh, Spanish on record is #2, bruh. And then you have Latin and Arabic and Mandarin and Hindi and all of these Asian languages where there's insane amounts of people. 7 billion on Earth, only not even 500 million are in the United States. So that puts into perspective what the 1.4 in China with the same amount of landmass as us might be. But yes, I have been to Peru, South America, where they speak Spanish. I have been to Spain, where they speak a different type of Spanish. I have been to Italy, where they speak Italian. And I have been to Austria, where they speak German. And yeah, I've been to Ireland in the parts where they speak Gaelic. And I've been to Canada in the parts where they speak French. I've been to Mexico, where they speak that Spanish. And so I'm here to tell you, languages are fascinating when you realize the way they've created them and how words sound versus how they're written and spelled, and how there's more than one right way to live, okay? There's all these major religions around the world. There's communism, there's capitalism, there's quote-unquote monotheistic and polytheistic religions, patriarchal and matriarchal, there's, you know, politics, pettiness, and brothers and sisters in humanity. And one of the things that seems to transcend every country and every place is male and female. And take it as and how you will, because I believe in freedom first for all of human beings still. So yes, I'm just saying that it's easy to get set in one's ways as a human being, and if you have not been exposed to other cultures or languages and you haven't been anywhere other than your own city, how would you ever know for sure which country or state is the best one? And if you're set in your ways and you're ready to play their game and give them exactly what they want and argue with your brothers and sisters and fight one another about silly things they've created that don't really matter, and if you want to debate politics and continue to have war, which for the record I do not, a good way to have peace within yourself and within your world would be to see it.
Let me show you. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
And people who are different from yourself. Different colors, sure, but that's the pettiest of these, despite what they've made for us. You know, religion is a good one to experience. A totally different culture in a totally different place with a totally different language and way of doing things. I learned many things. I learned that, you know, the laws are completely different in different countries. The way they approached COVID was totally different. The way they talk about drugs and substances, for instance, in the United States. So it's really quite fascinating. The way different countries do things. I learned in Europe that all of the cleaning products we have in the United States are illegal there. You know what I mean? I've talked about these things on my YouTube channel already, but when you go there and you see it for yourself that most of these other countries besides the US don't have guns, so they're having peaceful protests and demonstrations. No one's afraid to walk around in the streets. You learn that the food is so much better in other countries, and I'm not knocking the United States because I love my freedom and I love my car, and I believe in declaring yourself an independent and breaking their two-party system. It is an election year. I don't care about politics anymore, but I'm voting for a real good human being who's running as an independent. And if it happens to be a woman, she will nearly have my vote on principle, because we haven't tried it yet. Provide a counter argument. Anyway, you learn that some countries and states do have female representatives. They do have female leaders and prime ministers and even spiritual and religious leaders in other parts of the globe, although that is the greatest disparity. I hate to be the one to tell you. It's just the way it is. But you learn the way men and women are treated in other countries. You learn the values that others have, and you see it for yourself, and you have these experiences. And the more you do, the more you realize there's more than one right way to live. Because even if they don't do things the way you do things, and even if you don't agree with them, they somehow find a way to succeed and not be homeless and have good food to eat and provide for their families, and they have peace. At least that's what I've seen.
It's just the llamas and alpacas.
Way more good than bad, way more similarities than differences, and that there's definitely more than one right way to live. You have to find your way. This is some of the greatest education the Lord can give. You see the beauty in things. You see the connectedness of all life. Traveling is the best education because you start to appreciate what really matters.
So I am in the Sacred Valley walking with the tour. It's really amazing. Beautiful day.
You can stay moving and you can see it, or you can sit still and you can see it, but I prefer to fly around and travel and have the adventures and learn things for myself. But you could sit and stare at the trees all day in the craziest of storms, and the fact that they never budge when the wind is blowing down on them. The trees, they're so brave, really. I wrote a whole poem about it. And it's all about how the trees, they never move. They stand and take it all. They trust the all with all they are. And they're reborn again every year anew. They die and they come back to life every year. And you could literally just sit still and see it for what it is. But I prefer to move around and travel and have adventures and fly, because that's who I am. So when I was out on trains in other countries, on public transit, walking, I paid attention to the natural way of things. The energies, the connections, the way they treated plants and animals and other life besides themselves in other places, urban agriculture, the way they treated pets and service animals.
We are at Puerto Juarez, about to board the ferry for Isla Mujeres. It's a beautiful day in Cancun, and it should be a beautiful boat ride. I love going on the boat. Stay tuned. The name of the company is Ultramar, and we have our tickets ready to go.
I mean, a lot of it's already on my YouTube channel, and I'm just really highlighting these main things, is that you learn about the natural way of things. You learn about the energy and the life force that connects all things, and I call it a spiritual venture and not religion by any means. Although I have my angels on today, of which I will always believe. And they were with me every step of the way, and that's how I know that I'm right about every little thing, even when I don't want to be, about what I'm saying to you now. Traveling is the best education I've found. Every time I go on an adventure, I learn something about my world or about myself. I learn about other people, other life, other cultures, and other ways of doing things. I learn about language. I learn about the weather and how the systems they've created manage things. I've learned about governments, religion, culture, differences, and how men and women are treated, religion.
Hello, hola, ciao. Kelly Paratelli here. We are in Memphis, Tennessee, the volunteer state, which is the state that I was born in. I was actually born in Nashville, Tennessee. I haven't been to Memphis in a long time, but my grandma's actually buried here, so we're probably gonna go try and see her because I got a real good sister girl here who's gonna take me to her. Haven't seen her in years. My grandma Honey, my dad's mother, she passed away when I was 20. I'm 33 now, and it's been a long time since I've seen her grave, so we're gonna go there. But it's a beautiful day here in Memphis.
And I'm here to tell you, after everything I've been through, I highly recommend that y'all travel. Young, old, whenever you can, but preferably while you're healthy and able. Because not only is it a beautiful, enjoyable, entertaining, and adventurous experience, you learn more than you could ever imagine. It's the greatest education, and I'll never be done saying it. Traveling is the best education. It's my greatest joy and passion. And even this YouTube channel is an adventure in a way, so yeah, keep it moving. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for being here. I hope you liked this video. I highly recommend that you travel whenever you can in life. Take your PTO. Just do it. Just buy the plane ticket. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about finances. Usually the plane ticket is the most expensive thing anyway, and you can find cheap lodging in hotels and Airbnbs if you know what you're doing. And once you get into most other countries, the American dollar goes a lot further with currency, and you can buy a lot more than you'd ever dream to be once the ticket is out of the way. It's not as expensive as you think. Watch travel videos on YouTube and see how people do it broke, homeless, with no money. I promise you, if you want to do it bad enough, I believe in you, you can. I've seen people do it with a lot less and a lot more than me. Depends on how you want to do it. But I believe you can make it happen because I believe you can do anything. Go on your next adventure, follow your dreams, and I can't wait to see. You'll be seeing mine. Stay tuned. Peace, love, and respect. Ciao.